Alright, this video is to get you going with Serrano's Coffee Excel spreadsheet assignment, and it can also be used for the rock and roll Excel assignment because these two were very similar. We are formatting them the same, and we are creating the same bar chart in both of them. So this video can be used for either or. The numbers will be different for the other one, so no biggie. All right, so what I did was I copied over this data so that it was unformatted, and this is what the instruction set told you to type in. Just going to quickly point out the instructions right here. So the first 2 days of making these assignments, I wanted you guys to try to create these Excel spreadsheets using written instructions, because it's good for you to read and interpret written word rather than just watching videos all the time. And so here's the set of instructions that you were to follow. And then a few people were unable to get theirs to look like mine. And so that's why I'm making this video, and that's fine. Then you can watch the video after you've tried it first this way through these steps. All right, let's go back to this one. And so now this tab shows what it looks like, and then this tab so I can make reference back and forth, and you guys will be making reference from that written document at the bottom. It gives an example, a picture of the finished file. So once you get this data typed in, first thing we want to do is select this header from A1 to G1, and then I need to pull down the home tab. And by the way, if your tab doesn't stay down like mine wasn't down, then you have to hit this little pin button to pin the ribbon, and now it'll stay there. And then we're going to do a merge and center on that, and then we have to do the same thing for the next one. Then you can pretty it up with and make the different font size as instructed. I'm going to do that later, but if you want, you can stop and do that and go look at the written instructions, and the instruction tells you what size font size to use and what color to use. I'm okay if you don't use the same color scheme that I have, that's fine, but you want it to be larger because it is a title. These are both titles, the main heading and then a subheading. Alright, so I'm going to jump right to these numbers and how do we format these properly. If you notice, proper accounting techniques, formatting technique says that you should have dollar signs at the top row of any column of numbers, and then underneath you don't use dollars, just the comma separation. So notice there's no dollar signs formatted there. However, we do want the two decimal places. So this one already has 2 decimal places, but first I'm just going to go across and show you the dollar sign. Now I'm going to go ahead and highlight over to the totals, and I turned on the dollar sign format, and then for the rest of these I'm going to format as a comma separated, and by default it has a 2 decimal place. If I wanted more or less, I can use these increase decrease. Go to no decimal places, 1, 2, 3, you can go as far as you want, but for this assignment we're doing 2 decimal places because this is dollars and cents. Alright, let's put in some totals, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight this and turn on the dollar sign since I was doing that. Alright, now I want a sum function at the bottom of this, so I'm going to use the auto sum, and make sure that yours is summing from B4 to B7. It's all of these cells. I'm going to hit enter, and that's what your total should be. Now I'm going to use the fill handle, fill this guy over, and then I'm going to go ahead and sum these cells and make sure that it's summing from B4 to F4. Hit enter to accept it. I click once on this cell and I use the fill handle to copy those formulas down. And it looks like we're all in good shape. Let's see if this sums 462, 135. 462, 135.04. Okay, good. So we know it's working. it summed all the numbers properly, because this would be the total of everything. All right, ready to move on? You guys are going to go ahead and pretty it up. Like I said, I'm not going to take the time to do that, but I want you to go ahead and make yours look like this. I'll show you one thing though, just in case you just absolutely cannot figure out how to do this using the written instructions. I will show you that I used this cell styles right here. I pulled down the cell styles, and for the top one, I think I used this color, accent 2. Let's go back and take a look. Yes. And then I changed the the font. Let's see here. I think it was the dark blue. Like I said, you don't have to use the exact same color. And then we changed the, oops, don't need to do that. I believe this was 24 is what it stated in the instructions. And so then you can do that by you can find the different colors underneath the cell styles, okay? And you can get more colors by simply doing a right mouse click on this box, or if you select an entire set of cells, you can do a right mouse click, same thing. And you can also go to Format Cells and then Fill, and you can find different colors that way as well. So it does the same thing. I like to use this one. It's just a little bit quicker, and just pick from these pre-selected colors. Alright, so I'm going to let you guys do that. You can pretty those up, and then on the bottom the instruction said to use the totals, and that's why we have a blue line on top and a double blue line on the bottom. It's helpful for the eyes to see that that's a total. Alright, and then the last thing, and this is the one where a lot of people had trouble. Here, I'm going to go ahead and narrow these columns. If you also, I forgot to just point out how do you adjust the width, column width. If you get these pound signs, all you have to do is double click on between the two cells up here in the header, and then it auto fits. It'll automatically widen to what's the widest item in that column. Now I'm going to highlight all of these columns and then just double click in between any one of them and watch what happens. It auto fits for all of them, which is kind of nice. Now I don't know, these are just a little bit too small. I'm going to go ahead and widen them up a little bit more. And it said also to center them along the top. And then you can go ahead and pretty them up as it looks in the example. Now, on to the table. We're going to make a bar chart. So here's the trick. We want to make sure that we do not select the totals. That's why some of you had some errors in your charts. You went down here and selected all of the data, and then it gives us too much. It doesn't look good, and I'll show you the difference here in just a minute. But here's what we want you to select is the header names: New York, Chicago, Denver, Seattle, San Fran, and then these headers over here, the items. And once you've selected just these items, then Excel does all the hard work for us. Now we're going to find this pull-down menu for the column charts, and in the instructions it said to use a clustered column chart. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And it looks like it's working. Let me just drag this down here, and I'll make it a little bit wider so we can read it a little better. And let's go look over here and see if it matches. Okay, good. It's looking pretty good. The highest category had just over 50,000, and that makes sense because if you look at the highest item here was 53,000 Seattle coffee beans, and if you go down here, it's the blue one, coffee beans. So we're just double checking to make sure that it's reading our data up here properly, that the chart came out the way we wanted it to. All right, so that looks good. Now the heading is something you guys could type in. I'm going to go ahead and copy my heading from here, but you're going to, or they call it the chart title. You double click, and I'm just going to paste what I just got from the other side. And all right, it's looking good. That should get you going. And
Then you can resubmit for more credit. Make sure you let me know if you resubmit so that I know to go back and regrade it, and I will give you full credit if you finish up and make yours look like this. Like I said, the colors don't have to be the same. That's fine. Just make sure you make your you have to have some functions in the totals, and your chart needs to look like this. It needs to come out correctly without the, I told you I was going to show you what it looks like if I make a mistake. So if I click on this, it shows me what date is highlighted. What if I accidentally selected the total column? Watch what happens. It skews the data. The rest of these are kind of meaningless. They're so small I can't see the differences very well because it throws that total chart in there. And that's what quite a few of you submitted to me, and that's what I'm making you guys redo yours, or I should say go back and fix it. And look at how easy it is to fix. You can just simply get the double-headed arrow in the corner, pull it down, and voila. All right.